Okay, today we will finish the book Wilma Unlimited, and we will learn how she overcomes an obstacle that happened to her. Remember, Wilma was this girl who grew up in Tennessee, and she had a lot of obstacles in her way. Her family didn't have a lot of money. Her family had like 20 brothers and sisters. She was diagnosed with that crippling disease polio, which made her legs stop working. But she overcame all of that with her persistence. She did her exercises, she tried and tried and tried. And then she found herself on a track and field team for Tennessee State University and eventually on the Olympics. When we left off yesterday, we saw that it was day one of the Olympics in Italy, and she had twisted her ankle just as she arrived in Rome. It was still swollen and painful on the day of her first race. Here's that picture from the cover. Let's think about things we know about Wilma and how we think she'll probably persevere through this. Yet, once it was her turn to compete, Wilma forgot her ankle and everything else. Kind of just like at church. She lunged forward, not thinking about her fear, her pain, or the sweat flying off her face. She ran better than she ever had before, and she ran better than anyone else. Grabbing the attention of the whole world, Wilma Rudolph of the United States won the 100-meter dash. No one else even came close. An Olympic gold medal was hers to take home. Remember how it said all the other competitors had ran faster than her. The other people had ran better races than her. She just won. But her story's not over yet. So when it was time for the 200-meter dash, Wilma's graceful long legs were already famous. Graceful meaning they moved perfectly. Her ears buzzed with the sound of the crowd chanting her name. Such support helped her ignore the rain that was beginning to fall. At the crack of the starting gun, she surged into the humid air like a tornado. Surge means you're propelled forward. When she crossed the finish line, she had done it again. She finished far ahead of everyone else. She had earned her second gold medal. Wet and breathless, Wilma was exhilarated by the double triumph. Exhilarated meaning she's like so happy and so surprised she can't believe it. Triumph is another word for victory. Double victory, double triumph. The crowd went wild. Here she was at the start of that race. The 400-meter relay race was yet to come. A relay race is different because you're running as a team. There's 4 people and you each get a turn. The 400-meter relay race was yet to come. Wilma's team faced the toughest competition of all. And as the 4th and final runner on her team, it was Wilma who had to cross the finish line. Here she is running. Since these people have the same uniform, they're on the same team, and they're handing each other a baton. You can see these people are on the same team, handing off the baton. These people are on the same team, handing off the baton. If you've ever seen a race like that in track and field. Looks like she's in first place, which doesn't surprise me. Wilma's teammates ran well, passed the baton smoothly, and kept the team in first place. Wilma readied herself for the dash to the finish line as her third teammate ran towards her. She reached back for the baton and nearly dropped it. As she tried to recover from the fumble, 2 other runners sped past her. Wilma and her team were suddenly in third place. Ever since the day she had walked down the aisle at church, Wilma had known the power of concentration. Remember, concentration, you're only thinking about one thing. Now, legs pumping, and she put her mind to work. In a final electrifying burst of speed, she pulled ahead by a fraction of a second. Remember, fraction meaning less than one whole second. She was the first to blast across the finish line. The thundering cheers matched the thundering of her own heart. She had made history. She had won an astounding third time. Astounding meaning amazing. Can't even believe it. I did not think at the beginning of this book that she would be a person who would be fast enough to win 3 gold medals. Here she is getting her gold medal, and like at all the Olympics, they play the Star-Spangled Banner of the person, like their anthem of whoever is the winner. At her third ceremony that week, as the band played the Star-Spangled Banner, Wilma stood tall and still like a queen. The last of her 3 Olympic gold medals were hanging around her neck. Wilma Rudolph, once known as the sickliest child in Clarksville, had become the fastest woman in the world. Here's an example of how the beginning of the story can connect to the end of the story. The beginning of the story, all we learned about was poor Wilma. She was born at 4 pounds, she had all these diseases and all these sicknesses, but she persevered, never gave up, kept trying, practice, practice, practice. Fastest woman in the world. Pretty amazing. And remember, this is all a true story. You can go ahead and go back to Google Classroom and fill out your double entry journal about what you learned about Wilma. And now that the book's over, what are you wondering about next? What answers do you still need, or are you still wondering about?